Bungie is coming up on its 30th anniversary, and the developer has all the momentum in the world, dropping the dopest reveal for Destiny 2 The Witch Queen and kicking off the annual hype cycle once more. If you're into Destiny or all things gaming, be sure to drop a like and sub to this channel as well. But before we start, I want to quickly mention one thing. If your opinion of Destiny 2 is based on the game from prior years, honestly, just save yourself some time. This video isn't really for those who want to just stop by and tell me that the game is dead. It's got over 20 million new players, we're having a blast with some of the best storytelling and world building in years, and Bungie has shown no signs of stopping or catering to the folks that have no intention of playing. So do me a solid.
Stop it. Get some help.
Now if you're like us and you're excited for this expansion, then all I can say is welcome, and let's dive into everything you need to know about Destiny 2 The Witch Queen. To start it off, we have to talk about the Witch Queen herself. Savathun is one of the primary antagonists of the Destiny universe, but so far we've only dealt with her brother Oryx during the Taken King expansion and her sister Sivu during the season of the Hunt. Savathun is more cunning than her siblings and has been pulling plenty of strings behind the scenes, from evaluating our capabilities as Guardians during the season of the Splicer to taking Riven, the last Ahamkara, and unleashing a curse cycle upon the Dreaming City. Now she's out in full force, welcoming us to her throne world and daring us to survive the truth. But what does that mean? The truth in the Witch Queen expansion seems to be that Savathun has been gifted the light, giving the Hive brand new powers on par with Guardians, and it is a sight to behold as we face Savathun's Lucent Brood. Hundreds of Hive-style ghosts frantically search the battlefield, reviving fallen Hive combatants and resurrecting them with terrifying new powers, many of which look like our own, but are now being wielded against us. There is one distinct feature that separates the Hive ghosts, and it's the fact that it doesn't quite look like their powers of the light are one-to-one with the Guardians. Guardians get their light from the Traveler's Ghost, and Savathun is notorious for being cunning and a trickster of sorts, which leads me to believe that the powers of light that are granted to our enemies are merely some kind of illusion or trick of being in her throne world. On Bungie's launch page for the Witch Queen, the developer alludes to this with a section covering some of the new activities labeled Solve the Mystery, Pierce the Lie. A lot of the teasers leading up to the reveal of the Witch Queen were also framed with, quote, survive the truth, which supports the idea that what we're seeing from Savathun is just another one of her intricate webs of lies and deception, and that we'll be spending most of our time trying to lift that veil. So beyond the campaign, the Witch Queen will be chock full of different content, like a new 6-player match-made activity at the heart of the throne world. Details are slim at the moment, but there's mention of balance needing to be maintained. Each season so far this past year has had some kind of a 6-player match-made activity, such as Season of the Splicer's Override, and they all play with similar themes of Guardians basically playing the role of maintenance and keeping the environment balanced, or progressively inching closer towards an ultimate goal for the season finale. There will also be a new raid, and more raids and dungeons to look forward to post-Witch Queen as well. Raids have been pretty dry this past year, with only 2 raids released in over a year and a half, which is quite the drought for some of Destiny's best and most memorable endgame content. So far we had the Deepstone Crypt last year with Beyond Light's launch, and the reprised Vault of Glass in Season of the Splicer. But this time around, we're getting a brand new raid in the Witch Queen. The raid takes place in the swamps of Savathun's throne world and lies in a sunken pyramid. Some of you may already know the pyramids are kind of the symbol for the darkness, and we've traveled inside one of them before during Shadowkeep. I am so excited, and I can't wait to see how a raid inside one of these massive ships will be, especially inside Savathun's throne world. It's also been confirmed that older raids will be reprised and returning, so there will be more raids in the near future, which is great news. Now the jury is out on whether older raids from Destiny 1 like Crota's End will get the remastered treatment, or if Bungie simply plans on cycling out raids like The Last Wish to make room for something from their Destiny content vault like the Leviathan. Personally, in regards to the Destiny 1 raids coming back, I get tired of revamped content pretty quickly, despite enjoying the nostalgia at first. But there are millions of Destiny 2 players that have never seen this content, so I have no issue with more reprised raids to help stem the content drought between seasons. We've covered a good chunk of news so far, but let's shift gears towards some of the other types of content and gameplay changes. For starters, the Witch Queen has a difficulty modifier on its campaign. You can try to sweat it out on Legendary mode, which means you can earn even more powerful gear and extra rewards. There's also weapon crafting, a first for Destiny. There's an argument to be made that the current Umbral Engram system could qualify as a sort of crafting, but that is really kind of its own thing in my book. With Umbrals, you can invest certain materials to try to dodge the RNG of the game a little bit by curating your loot drops. You can make an engram, for example, drop a piece of armor with a high mobility stat, but you're still not sure what kind of armor piece you're gonna get or from what set, but you're banking on the mobility stat being decent enough to potentially rotate into your armor lineup. With weapon crafting in the Witch Queen, it seems like we're taking things a step further by being able to craft all Witch Queen and seasonal weapons, and even trying hunting for specific perks to craft. With crafting, there's also the brand new Glaive, Destiny's first and only first-person melee weapon. The Glaive is a versatile new energy weapon archetype that lets you use melee combos, mid-range projectiles, and defensive capabilities. I won't even lie to you, it looks sick as fuck, and I'm excited to see the class-specific exotic variants. With all this dope new content to look forward to, it begs the question for Destiny 2 fans, which version of the Witch Queen should you get? To briefly summarize, you have a standard edition, a deluxe edition, and a pricey collector's editions, which at the time of this video is actually already sold out, so they all kind of speak for themselves. If you're a casual or new player and you're unsure if you want to stick with Destiny throughout the year, then the standard edition is for you. It's a fairly complete experience with all of the Witch Queen's content, but it doesn't come with the seasonal activities. The deluxe edition is your best bet as there's plenty of seasonal content worth diving into, like dungeons, exotic weapons, and other bits of content. The collector's edition is obviously for fanatics like our very own Phil Hornshaw, who knows every little thing there is to know about the lore and has some wicked good lore articles for newcomers and veterans alike. Destiny 2 The Witch Queen is basically on the same tier as the Big Fall expansions of the past, despite having a February 2022 release date. Before the Bungie Activision split, the Taken King and Forsaken were massive content drops. After Bungie went independent, their large fall expansions like Shadowkeep and Beyond Light were hefty, but not nearly as grand, relying upon the seasonal content and season pass to kind of help pad the stats a little bit, so to speak. That being said though, all the expansions were an absolute must play that first month, and ever since Bungie moved on from the stale and monotonous small scale DLC like Curse of Osiris and Warmind, they have found better ways to keep the content fresh on a regular cadence, even though it might still be a bit of a drip feed for the hardcore players who pump dozens of hours a month to where they're spending the majority of their time trying to like solo or two-man encounters that usually have 6 players. It's also worth mentioning that PvP deserves more love, and although there have been great threads from the developers talking about focusing on PvP post-Witch Queen, there are obviously things to be wary about. But where's the fun in complaining about all that, man? It's f***ing Destiny! We're getting a new drop in February with brand new weapons, sick-ass armor, new raids, new activities, new story, new everything! I'm so excited to kick some Hive ass, and I hope you're down to come along for the ride too. Until next time.